Hello, everybody. This is
Hi.
Shruthi, and I come to you today with the beautiful Olga. We have a viewer question to ask today. This question was posed to us by a person from our Facebook group, Demystifying Healing Podcast. And the question goes like this: how do I connect to myself? And I know this is a question which a lot of you have on your minds. So, first, Olga is going to connect to the energy of this person, this particular person, and tell her a bit about her blocks to connecting to herself. And then we will give specific methods as to how to connect to your innermost being or uh, how to connect to yourself.
Okay. Thank you, Shruti. And thank you for asking questions. We really love it. It helps us as much as
Yeah,
it helps you. So we're not saying the name for privacy. So I connected to you. And I see like a cloud of a kind of like a gray. The reason for feeling this connection is a kind of a gray cloud that is located somewhere in front of the chest area and also in the back of the head somewhere, like kind of like this, and in front of the chest area. And the front of the chest area feels like it's there also because of desire to be protected, like almost like a pillow for crashing. Like the car, when the car crashes, you have a pillow in front of you, so you're not gonna get hurt. And yeah, this looks like a helmet too. Anyway, that cloud is something about other people's ideas, beliefs, and we all have it. I mean, there's no judgment. Like me and Shruti, we have those. Everybody has the other people's beliefs that we're clinging on to, that we have accepted as our own. Other people's rules that we have accepted as our own. Other people's perception of how the world is structured that we have accepted as our own. And there's a lot of, I'm just getting a lot of fears about what if, like a lot of it can be found on TV, the news. There's a lot of things that we hear on the news that say, danger, 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 danger. This is dangerous. This is dangerous. This is dangerous. And there's a lot of unfairness and injustice and abuse. And on like a huge scale.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like a lot of this clouds is also about that. And these fears they're just like really clouding up everything. Like you can't see, even though they're located here and here, but they're clouding your connection to yourself. Because clarity is attained when you know what is yours and what is not yours. So I would suggest that dealing with those clouds and to empower your healer within, I would say try to start dealing with those. Let's say you don't see those clouds, and it's fine. I see them because I trained myself to see them. You don't see them. It's absolutely fine. You don't need to. So what you can do, though, is you can write down, or at least I think writing down is much better. Physically have proof of it. It's almost like taking it from the cloud and putting it down on paper with ink and letting it go, kind of like that. And it's listing down fears one by one. Like, what am I afraid of right now? Or just random fear. Just write it down. Write it down and ask questions about it. that clarify who will be hurt, who is the perpetrator, who is the victim, why is this happening, all the questions there, why, what, who, when, where, for what purpose, what if, and analyze this fear and how much of it is really, really relevant to you right now doing what you're doing. And I guess actually I can reference out to our video on authenticity, where instead of the two gigantic scary things such as society and me, my authenticity, we make it smaller and smaller, very specific. I want to do this, so who's going to be against it? Is it the whole world, or is it just 5 people? So writing down the fears and meditating on them. Like, is this my fear? And if this does not relate to you, or if this is, everything relates to us, obviously. But can you let some of it go and give it to the people who are living that thing, and free yourself for yourself to feel alive for yourself? And this seems to be it's probably quite difficult to do immediately. So I just got these 2 books in my head when I was looking at you. And I think it works for all people who are very overwhelmed with the situation in the world and with the news and with all the fears. So I suggest to read 2 books by Joseph Heller. One of them is Catch-22. Another one is Something Happened by Joseph Heller. And I feel like come on, I feel like he's a healer, okay? He does, his book, I think everybody heard of Catch-22 for sure, but not so many people heard about what Something Happened. So Catch-22, if you haven't heard of it, is about the war. So it's just something huge and gigantic, everybody's affected by it. But then there are those people who are in the war, the bombardier and the oldest people in the war. They find ways to change their perspective, and they find ways to still enjoy their lives or still somehow take care of themselves. Or it's a comedy, it's a Black comedy. But I feel like this book is really a magical spell for looking at something scary like a war and dissipating parts of it and actually separating war is war, I am me. Okay. And yes, this is me and this is war. So I am more connected to me by separating things that are not mine. But he does it in a kind of Black comedy, funny way. And Something Happened is not about the war, but it's about our daily life, like office and family life and work, business. It's also, it's kind of similar. It's dissipating things that we hold as these gigantic truths that are weighing on us to be something we're not. And that's why we're disconnected from ourselves, because it's weighing on us. And we have lived in it since the day we are born, so we don't even know that we can let it go. We don't even know that it's not ours. I don't remember so much the book, but it just came to me, and it's something about he looks at things like, why are we all obsessed about having a company car? Why is it so important? But for some of us, you have to have a company car. Like, I'm going to work so hard to have a company car, or to have a parking space in my office, or to have the managerial position, or to have this title, that title. So he helps to dissipate those gigantic things weighed down on us by society, and to separate oh, that's me. I don't have to finding yourself amongst all that. And the last thing is actually helping yourself to define, what does it mean to feel connection to yourself? How do you define that you have connected to yourself? Even just meditating on these things can help you get insights Like if you send the intention out there, right, it will come back. Questions like, why do I feel that I am disconnected if I'm asking to be connected? What is the evidence I have that I am not connected to myself? And what would the evidence look like when I am connected to myself? Would it be only observable in my emotions, in my beliefs, in my knowledge? Would it be observable in my thoughts? Would it be observable in the words I use to speak? Would it be observable in my actions I do in my life? How does connection to myself look like? And where did I get that idea? Is it because you read it in a book or you heard someone on the internet talk about it? And it's okay that you're like, oh, connected to myself means this, but where did you get it? If you can remember where you got that definition, go back to the definition and bring it here and go like, but this is me. Do I like this definition? Do I feel it's true for me? I can change it if I want it, and I can keep it if I want it. I can keep some of it and I can change some of it. I am free to define what is my connection to myself even. And I guess it's a bit much, but it's a beginning. It's a beginning.
Yeah.
This is what I can advise, offer, and I guess this advice can be used not only by our asker, inquirer, but also in general, even for me right now. Oh, that's good. That's a good. I could do that for myself too. So I hope it's useful for someone out there.
Yes. Thank you so much, Olga. So when I tune into your energy, the energy of the one who has asked this question, what I'm getting is that you don't know where you begin and where you end and others begin. And this sensitivity can be a gift. I know it sometimes feels like it's a curse, but the good side of this, the positive side of this is that you're not really disconnected from anything around you. The fact that you can feel everything so deeply, what's happening to you energetically, is that you are taking in a lot of information, a lot of emotions from the collective. So, like Olga said, if you're watching the news, it's not just something that is happening to a war, is not just something that is happening out there to other people. For you, it's a very real experience. And there are many ways to define it, but the fact remains that this is a gift in the sense that you are open to feeling the pain of others. The only thing you need to do here is to have some sort of distance between what is yours and what is not yours. And that distance will not make you insensitive to all the wrongs that are happening in the world today or in society today. That distance will just keep you in a state where you have enough energy to deal with it, to connect to everybody around you and to connect to yourself and not be absolutely paralyzed by it, and to be able to do something about it in a tangible way. I'll give you a practice for this. You can start taking cold showers where the temperature of the water is a bit uncomfortable. The reason for this is cold showers make you very aware of the boundaries and limits of your body, of your physical body, of your physical existence. And just observe the sensations in your body when you take these cold showers. Are there parts of your body that feel numb, that don't feel like they were affected by the coldness of this water? Are there parts of your body that were charged up, were fired up? Are there parts of your body which wanted to escape? Are there parts of your body that failed to register that it's cold water? These are just prompts. You can feel into whatever comes up when you're taking this cold shower. You can do this multiple times. I wouldn't advise more than twice, but twice a day. But you can do this every day. And then if you keep at it for more than 2 weeks, you will suddenly start noticing a demarcation between certain emotions in your body. As in, you will be able to know the difference between how fear feels in your body to how disappointment feels in your body to how any other negative emotion feels in your body. And this is a major milestone because this is where, so right now, what's happening to you is that you're taking in a lot of stuff, everything that's happening in the world, and it's just overwhelming. So you're not able to categorize it in a way so as to deal with it productively. I don't like the word, but this is just, illustrative purposes. So you can start doing that. And once you're able to categorize your emotions, your sensations, all of that, and once you do this coupled with the exercise that Olga just gave you, ask yourself what connection means to you. Are you sure that you're not connected to yourself? You ask these questions and you do this practice, and you will get your unique answer. Maybe the fact is that you have been connected to yourself all this while. It's just this amorphous mass that's not making sense to you. You have all the information from those sensations and thoughts and feelings and everything. It's just that you don't have enough energy to make sense of it right now, or do what's necessary with it, or to the energy to take any practical steps for yourself or for society or for all those people for whom your heart bleeds. So this is one exercise. I'm getting something else. Moon gazing is going to be very beneficial to you. So if you have like an open space, a terrace, a veranda, or anything at all, just gaze at the moon. Just gaze at the moon, and you don't have to think of anything particular while you're gazing at the moon. Just gaze at the moon. And if you have a string of pearls, you can keep it with you. Just feel how a string of pearls, white pearls, feels in your palm. This could, at the very mundane psychological level, this can be something you use to self-soothe. For example, if you wear a bracelet of white pearls, every time you feel that you're anxious or every time you feel that you're not connected to yourself, you can just start feeling those pearls. And it will automatically put you in the question mode, all those questions which Olga asked you to ask yourself. So if you're anxious and if you touch your pearls, you'll automatically start asking yourself, why am I anxious right now? Is it because I'm not connected to myself? Or is it because I'm so connected to myself that I am aware of the absolute misery that this piece of news is causing me? Right. And you can do this for a while and then go about your way. Every time you feel a negative emotion or every time you feel that you're disconnected from yourself, make a practice of this. Just, hold on to those pearls, and then you train your mind into, you won't even have to do it consciously anymore. You'll just keep asking yourself that question and those answers just come to you. And don't beat yourself up if the answers do not come to you in real time. Sometimes it might take a few hours, a few days, but they will come. Okay, so yeah. And white pearls, they have a mystical element to it. White pearls, the moon, they all have something to do with emotions. And we have to make friends with the moon and our emotions. It's not something to be transcended. This is something which even psychology gets it now. You can't transcend those emotions, right? So anything to do with the moon, which signifies your emotions, anything which signifies the moon, pearls, even moonstone, stuff like that, they inherently put you in that state of mind. where you're embracing your emotions, where you're more comfortable embracing your emotions. So when you embrace your emotions, you will discover the ways in which you're already connected to yourself. And wherever you feel disconnected, you will just dispel those emotions by going deeper into it. That's that. This is specific to you, but this can work for just about anybody. So that's that.
And I love how you asked, are you sure you're not connected to yourself? Yeah,
Yes.
That's a good question to ask and investigate.
Yes.
How are you connected? How are not? Or yeah, I love that question.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what happens when we binge watch TV or even content on mental health. Like if we watch too much of anything, you sort of start taking this advice, and there is a lot of content online which says that you're not connected to yourself, and that can be damaging to somebody who is connected to themselves and things that So all advice, like every piece of advice, it's meant for a certain set of people. It's not a one size fits all thing. So you have to take everything with a pinch of salt and find your truth.
And we are taught from young age to kind of like, if it's written in a book, if it's typed up, I guess maybe even our generation, because we're kind of old. If it's typed up on the paper, it's supposed to be trusted or something, or written in a book. And I'm not saying it's not, but we often really put a lot of stuff and confuse ourselves when we read something somewhere. Like, oh, I read that this happens. Oh, I read that happens. Oh, I read that we're all disconnected from ourselves. Oh, I read that something else. And then all this stuff just comes in our heads, and it's really, it doesn't belong there.
Exactly.
It just makes things worse, more confusing, and we need to clean house.
Yes.
And whatever we read, okay, fine, we read it, but we have the choice to keep it at a distance as a, oh, okay, I'll use it if I need it, but it's not in my head. If that makes sense.
Exactly.
Double, triple check with your own self. And sometimes the answers will vary, and that's fantastic because you're not the same person every day. So that's freedom, I guess. And that's how I feel freedom for myself.
Exactly. Yes, there might be days when you're not connected to yourself, and there might be days where you are in absolute connection with yourself. So how to traverse from one day to the next, or from one moment to the next, and know yourself completely deeply. That's all there is to it. I think that's what life is. So yeah, I think with this, we come to the end of today's Q&A. And thank you so much, Olga.
Thank you, Shruthi.
To ask the question. So,
okay, see you in the next Q&A, guys. Bye-bye.